What is up, y'all? We are here for episode 10 of Love Island Games. If you don't, and you can't already tell, I'm a little bit, 8 sheets to the wind. So bear with me. Hopefully, I can get through this. I'm a little bit tipsy. So I'm going to try and see what I can do. But if you love me, thumbs up the video. Help me. That's the encouragement for me to get through. Drop the comments down below. Share the video. Subscribe if you're new. Yeah, it's almost 12 o'clock at night. And I got to pack because I'm going to Atlanta tomorrow, which Sunday's recap might be late because I'm going to see my boys Washington Commanders play, even though we ain't got a lot of key players playing, but that's where I'll be, and I'll come back later on Sunday night to get out episode 12. But yeah, let's go because I got to pack. All right, so we get back where we left off, which is the nighttime mingle, and we got Garbi pretty much telling Andrea that she wants to apologize to Lucinda and Black Scent about pretty much making and wanting to make them realize that she didn't mean what she did by pretty much having them get targeted in the game by doing that maliciously, which you don't need to apologize to them because you're playing a game, Garbi. But Andrea says, like, accidents happen. I think you're fine. You just fucked up and everything will be all right. She didn't fuck up. Like, she did what she was supposed to do in the game. But Lucinda, she's telling bitch ass Kendall, because yeah, it's back. I've been giving him grace this season. He hasn't really pissed me off all the way, even though I've already called it from day one that relationship with Garbi is bullshit, and he literally the mask slipped today, and I'm about to wear him out. But Lucinda's telling him that she feels like Garbi came for her, and she the only one that was pouring shit in hers, and she's got it out for her. You always with this victim shit, and Lucinda, I'm completely off of her, especially after last night's episode. Completely, she's a weirdo. But bitch ass starts stating that she doesn't understand that she doesn't. Talking about Garbi, she doesn't have it out for you because she knows how much I love you in a friendship way. That's your type, Kendall. That's your type, if that is your type, if you know what I'm saying. But she then says that it's really weird and it's got me upset. He then says that she said there was no malicious intent in that. And Lucinda's like, well, she wouldn't tell you if it was. Garbi's telling Andrea that she's starting to like bitch ass. And I'm like, here we go. Andrea tells her like she thinks that Kendall is bitch ass is locked in. No, he's not. Like he's phony. But Lucinda then starts talking about how it made her upset because Kendall wouldn't want her to do it. Basically, wouldn't want Garbi to target her and Isaiah. Who cares? But he then says that he wants the girl that he's with, talking about Garbi, to get along with his friends. I said, your bitch ass is acting just like Ray did with Imani. You're playing a fucking game. Your best friends are not gonna help you get the money. They're gonna try and get themselves the money first. I can't stand him. When I tell you I literally can't stand him, I don't know this man, but the only thing I know about him is what I see on the TV, and I can't stand anything that I'm seeing on this TV. Like I really cannot stand him. And he's not gonna win that money. But he then asked if Lucinda thinks that he asked Lucinda if she thinks that this girl talking about Garbi is the one for him. I said no, because you don't even like her. Duh. Like stop playing with her. And then again too, I'm sitting there like you should know. Like why do you have to ask Lucinda that? Aggravating. We then move to my favorite duo, which is not y'all's favorite duo, Johnny and Tyrique. Y'all, I look at shit in the guise of entertainment. A TV show, a game show, moves being made, people that aren't scared to make moves. That's why they're my favorites. But Johnny tells him that on some real shit, like it's not really there with him and Andreina, even though he really wants it to be there. Tyrique is like, yeah, she's got a sweetheart and whatever. I feel like she likes you, but I mean, if this is how you're feeling, you just essentially need to go tell her that. So Johnny says that Andreina thinks that no matter who comes in, he's going to stick with her because of the fact that she's Andreina, but she's not doing her part. And being good looking is not enough. Basically, that's what he's stating, and he's not wrong. I know a lot of y'all are going to be on his head because of what he did, but he's not wrong. He's playing a game. Yes, he's attracted to Andreina, but if Andreina's not pulling her weight in the game aspect, Johnny has every right to move away from her. He has every right to jump ship like anybody else would. If you've made it very clear, and it's the thing too, he's not hiding the fact that he's genuinely there for the game. Yes, he likes her, but he's literally poured into her as much as he can, and then he realized, okay, well, it's not going to work because she's not really trying to give me what I'm trying to put into her. So at that point, he either stays attached to a sinking ship and gets sent home, or he finds another path. Johnny is not wrong, no matter what y'all say. But Tyrique says, I know exactly how that feels, which is why he left Andreina. He wasn't wrong for that either. But Johnny then tells us that he's carrying the two of them, which he is. And he's like, I want to win. And I feel like I really have no option at this point because I have to think long term. And I might need to find somebody else that can help me win, like I just said. But he then says that she has everything that he looks for, looks-wise, but they've been vulnerable every single time. But Andrea, Lucinda, and Sydney, they're talking, and Lucinda ends up getting a text. Can't talk. Here we go. Slurring. Ends up getting a text to gather for the results for the challenge. And we find out that the winners of the challenge were Sydney and Toby. She's sitting there talking about she's there to win. She's not just here to serve. I'm like, serve what? Like, really? But second place couple is Andreina and Johnny. I'm like, am I shocked? No, not really, because it wasn't anything like super competitive. It was just the luck of the draw. They just weren't chosen to be the ones to get the most of that nasty shit. But the rest of the couples, they're all vulnerable for the vote. But we'll find out later on. But Sydney and Toby, they're pretty much happy about not being vulnerable, especially Toby, because Toby has been vulnerable since he's been on the show. And he's happy that he can relax. Black Scent and the victim, a.k.a. Isaiah and Lucinda, they're in soul ties. She's talking about how she got weird vibes off of Garbi. She's still sitting here, like, spearheading this hate train for Garbi. Like, get off of her. Like, you're looking like a weirdo. Like, she's playing the game. Granted, Garbi is claiming that she didn't do it intentionally, but if she did, she wouldn't be wrong because she's playing the game. Lucinda is a fool because she acts like she's not playing a game and people are supposed to play best friends. Like, only two people, maybe one, is gonna win that money. Like, if Garbi's not coupled up with you, then that's not gonna be you. But Black Scent says that he has weird vibes from Josh too. They're a match made in hell. But Garbi and bitch ass, they go upstairs, and he says like the challenge that they just had caused problems, and Lucinda's his best friend in there, and he trusts her a lot. I said, your best friend should be the woman that you claim that you are interested in. That should be your best friend. That should be the person that you put over any and everybody. So the fact that you're sitting here even considering Lucinda as anybody that matters in the moment proves everything that we already knew. But we know how you get down. But he says that he trusts her, and her stating that you, talking to Garbi, that you were intentionally trying to move it to split to spit in her bucket. That shit was weird to me. And Garbi's like, I mean, I wasn't doing it to just get them. Even if she was, she's not wrong for it. But he then asked if it was an accident. It doesn't matter. That's your partner. Stand with her. So she then says, like, why would I maliciously want to spit in her bucket? And he then asks if it's because him and Lucinda are close, trying to insinuate that she's jealous. You want a black woman to be jealous of you being with a white woman? That's what you want. So stop trying to do. It's like, it's crazy. He's sticking with, and I'm going to keep it real with y'all. He jumped to be with Garbi for the optics because we all knew last season that he don't like black women. He knows it because we stated it from that season to Beyond the Villa because he literally brought that girl on Beyond the Villa just to get the optics to look a certain way. Now he's choosing Garbi, and now his mask is slipping. Like, we see who you are. But she ends up asking, like, you trying to make it seem like I'm jealous? And he's like, I mean, I'm trying to figure out the reason why. And she says, like, believe what you want to believe at this point. Like, basically, like, I don't, fuck you. But he then says, like, I'm in a tough spot. How? He says, because he has a best friend that's telling him things and the girl that he cares about. I said, if that's the girl that you care about and the girl that you want to be with, you would only focus on what she's doing and backing her up. Fuck Lucinda. Lucinda's not worried about you. Like, you're worried about her, but she's really not worried about you. Let's keep it real. So Garbi then says that she just doesn't want to talk about it anymore because she's feeling bad already right now. And I'm over it. I'm ready to be done. It's like you're literally sitting here piling on her when she already feels bad about a decision that she made, which she wasn't wrong for. But he says him too, and he just wants peace. To shut the fuck up and leave her alone. Leave her alone. But she then says, maybe I should go talk to somebody else. She gets up and walks away, as she should have a long time ago, because she feels like she's getting emotional at this point. So she tells us, like, what does he want from her? Like, what do you want? And she says, like, for him to pretty much insinuate these type of things is a slap in the face. I say, yeah, because his mask is slipping. He don't like black women. So he goes running to Sydney to go tell her about what just happened. This is one of two times that he ran to women to talk about the woman that he's with. Why are you running to women when you got a whole house of men there that you could confide in? Yet you're running to women to then go bash Garbi. That's what it is. And then you think they're not going to use that to their advantage to get Garbi out, which you're attached to, you dumb fool. Like, I can't stand Kendall, man. I'm telling you, I cannot stand him. But he goes running to her. He states that her walking away in the middle of a conversation and he wants to be with somebody where that type of shit doesn't happen. I said, you don't have her back, and this little shit is enough to make you want to do this. It's because you never liked her. That's why. But we see a scene of Justine and Tyrique. So Tyrique is getting to work. He's telling her that she's walking around looking sexy and he can't be the old Tyrique. And there's no bad blood. I said he's playing. He's trying to execute his plan. So he then tells her that he was enjoying getting to know her. It was a bump in the road between the two of them, and they're a couple now. She's in control and he's here. He's like, basically, you can run the shit. You can run the show. I'm going to be right here for you. So he then puts his arm around her playing. And she says, you ain't playing the game, are you? Like, are you? Because the switch up that you just had right now, it's crazy. I'm reading you. She's clocking his shit. But he then tells her that they can cuddle. Again, he's playing because I'm like, here we go. And I'm like, we'll see if he's being genuine at this point. But she's clocking his shit. But he then tells us that normally Love Island, like normal Love Island, Justine pulling the shit that she did, he would have cut her immediately. But the fact that it's Love Island games, he got to think about strategy, and he's realizing the more he gives her, the more she's going to return, and she essentially will have her day. But he then tells her that he's not scared, and she's like, I mean, I'm not scared. Or no, he tells her not to be scared. Oh, Jesus. He tells her not to be scared, and she says, I'm not. He says, just embrace it, a.k.a. embrace what we got going on. And she says, we'll see. We'll see. Johnny and Andreina, they're happy about being safe. He tells her, like, our problem is you feeling like, well, did he tell her this? He told us this, that their problem is her thinking that he's basically her Superman. He's the one that's going to carry her through this entire game. And he's like, she's not a shining star in challenges. And something's going to have to change in order for him to stay around. Like I said, he's not wrong for feeling that way. But Garbi then goes and pulls Lucinda. Bitch ass is over there telling Andrea now about their conversation. This is two women that he goes to confide in. He's not confiding in men. That tells me a lot. But he then says that she was feeling, that she was telling him that it wasn't intentional or whatnot. But Garbi and Lucinda, Garbi's over there telling her that she genuinely realizes that she was just spitting in her bowl and it wasn't intentional. She didn't have a motive. She just wanted to get the nasty shit out of her mouth, which I can believe that, honestly. Do I believe that she might have possibly done it strategically? Yeah, possibly, but I can also see that she wanted to get that shit out as quick as she could. So regardless, it really doesn't matter. But she then tells her that she sees her as a friend, and she knows that Lucinda feels like she has some type of vendetta against her. And Lucinda says, yeah, I mean, I thought you did after the challenge because you're not playing the game. But Garbi then says she feels that this made people question her personality and who she is as a friend, and it makes her feel like shit because that's not who she is. Lucinda then says it's nice hearing that from you and understanding that it wasn't personal. I said if you would have went to her and asked her the question like a normal, decent human being instead of sitting there leading a hate train talking shit behind her back, you would have gotten this answer. That's why I don't like her. But Lucinda states that, and she's now stating that she knows that she's not a bad person in her confessionals, yet you sat here and talked all this shit about her. She said, I know deep down that she's not a bad person, yet you sat here and talked all this shit about somebody that you know deep down is not a bad person. That's a mean girl. Y'all want to talk about people being a mean girl? That's a mean girl. But she then states that she needs to start being strategic like everybody else. I mean, it's episode 10. You should have been done that, idiot. So they agree to table it. We move on. Bedtime. Garbi, she ends up stating that she doesn't feel like she wants to talk to Kendall anymore. The girls are telling her, like, just take a night, sleep on it, see what happens tomorrow. Bitch ass is down there telling Black Scent, the same man that was talking shit about him, that Garbi walked off on him and whatever. And Black Scent's like, she couldn't handle the questioning. And bitch ass says, yeah, literally. I said, I can't stand either one of these two. But the next day, everybody's doing their morning routine like normal. Garbi says she's hurt, basically, with what happened with bitch ass, but he brings her breakfast. He walks away, and she offers the breakfast to the girls. I said, exactly. Exactly. But we get a scene with, I said Toby and Justine, but I believe it's Tyrique and Justine. Let me see these notes. I'm a little drunk. Watch out. Yeah, it's Tyrique and Justine. This was not making it over there to TikTok. But he then asked her like what she's doing today. And she said, I'm trying to make it to the next challenge. Like, we vulnerable, I'm trying to get out of this. So she ends up asking if he's nervous, and he's like, yeah, do you feel that energy? And she's like, yeah, it's kind of off. So he then states that he hates being vulnerable, and they just don't like the thought of possibly ended up going home off of a vote instead of actually being able to compete. But they start flirting. She tells us that slowly but surely they're getting back to a better place. And he pretty much didn't give her breakfast today, but they're getting on the same page. And as long as they are on that same page, she's happy to be in a couple with him. We got a quick little scene of Andreina and Nicola. Nicola, she likes Marivn, but not romantically. But she's fine with being partnered up with him because she knows in the game that she doesn't really have to have a romantic connection, even though she wants one, but she's so desperate for one. Andreina's like, yeah, it's not about love, just about love. But you seem to think otherwise when it comes to you and Johnny. But Nicola, she states that she just wants to have fun. And the money doesn't matter to her because it doesn't make her happy. But her being here does. I said, go home. I will not vote for somebody on Love Island Games that is not actually wanting to compete to win that money. If it doesn't mean anything to you, go home. That's how I feel. Justine and Garbi, they're having a conversation, and Garbi's telling her that she feels hurt by the way that everything was handled with bitch ass and how he handled it. Him questioning her character left a bad taste in her mouth, and she's not pulling him for a chat. Like she said, I would rather slam my tongue through a door, a car door. I said, exactly. Like, don't do it. But Justine says, like, take notes of those red flags because they will turn into bigger ones. I said, exactly. Like, he's a walking red flag. But Garbi tells us that she likes him and she's kind of lost track of the game and she needs to refocus and she wants to win. But Garbi also then asked Justine how she's feeling about Tyrique. And she's like, I mean, I like him as a partner. Garbi asked if it's romantic. And she was like, I mean, we have fun. He makes me laugh. I enjoy him. But Justine states that when she falls hard. And she ends up getting heartbroken, which we've already seen. So she has to keep her guard up. And she's like, Tyrique can see that I still have it up. But she states that he essentially could end up breaking those walls down, but we never know. Johnny and Andreina, they have a conversation. And he pretty much tells her, like, obviously we're attracted to each other, but how much chemistry is really there? It's kind of surface level at this point, and it's kind of crazy to me. He's not wrong for that, and I respect him for being upfront with it. A lot of people online I know are probably like, oh, well, he's rude for that. No, he's not. He's telling her the truth. Like, if it's surface level, it's surface level. If he can't get anything else out of her besides just physical attraction, that is considered surface level. That's surface level conversations. If they can't have any conversations outside of just the physicality and the base conversations that we've seen them having, we've literally seen Andreina basically not contribute to anything intellectually. If you're asking me, like, the conversations they have are very childlike, and when I say childlike, it's not anything stimulating the mind. And then not only that, they don't even talk strategy because she doesn't want to play the game. Like, she doesn't really want to win. So that's what he's talking about. Like, where's the substance? But she was like, I mean, you're not crazy. She was like, I just have a hard time opening up. She says she just doesn't want him to think that she doesn't want to get to know him. And he says, like, sometimes carrying the conversations can become draining, which he's not lying. He then says, too, that you would be surprised how much these type of conversations that we're having right now can make somebody feel comfortable. That is the truth. But Andreina tells us that she never wants to feel like somebody can hurt her feelings, or at least allow somebody to hurt her feelings. And he tells us that he feels a disconnect between the two of them. And he would like to get to that point with her, but it has to happen. And that's what he tells her. And she says the same. So we get that punk ass bitch, Kendall and Garbi. And he says that he can tell the mood has been off with her. And he wants to say sorry for having her question if he trusts her over Lucinda. And wants her to know that he trusts her because she's his person in this game. Shut up. Just bullshit. I can't stand somebody that sits in somebody's face, plays in their face. It's like you don't have any respect for me because you just playing in my face. And I can't stand somebody like Kendall. But she says that she didn't understand him questioning her motives and even entertaining the fact that she would do it with malicious intent. And he's like, I mean, I'm going to take notes of little things like you walking off. I said, like, she should take notes of you spread. Let me not. But she did says that she gave multiple signals She says that she gave him multiple signals of her pretty much having a hard time. And he kept interrogating her to the point where it's like, are you trying to get me to break down? Do you want me to cry in front of you? That's exactly what he wanted. That's exactly what he wanted. But he tries to deny that that's what he wanted and states that he wanted them to squash it and move on. Shut up. But he then says that he doesn't want it to affect what they have. So how are you, like, if you really believe that, why would you literally basically chastise your partner because she made your best friend feel like she was being targeted? If your partner, your love interest, wants to target somebody in a game that y'all are playing together, because guess what? Only the two of y'all should be having the goal to win. Why are you not backing her? Like, she then tells him that she'd like to not have somebody piling on top of her when she's already feeling down. And he apologizes, but states that they both could have handled things better. I said, this is the same shit he do with Nicole. Like, trying to make it seem like it's equal blame. There's nothing to blame on Garbi's end. You're the one to blame. So he says that, and Garbi tells us that he didn't understand where she came from. Like, she's like, he missed the point. That's the whole point. He missed the mark. But Garbi then says, I guess I apologize for not communicating. You shouldn't apologize for anything. But he tells her that she doesn't need to apologize. He hears her and he asks to hug it out. I said, you don't like her. But Andreina and Andrea, they're in soul ties. Andreina's pretty much talking about the fact that she just doesn't like being vulnerable. She's not used to being vulnerable. And she feels like it's affecting her with Johnny because he pretty much stated that their conversations aren't as deep as he would like. And she's scared because she likes him. But Andrea tells her that him communicating to her what he's feeling is showing maturity, because he could have pulled back. And moving forward, you just need to try and put more of an effort into actually really getting to know him on a deeper level. And Andrea tells her that she's heard this before. Brian, if multiple people are saying it at the same time, it's probably true. But she says that she knows it's a me issue, so she's self-aware. But it's time for night. Everybody's getting ready and stuff. Garbi's telling the girls about her and bitch ass, talking about how he's sitting there taking notes. Justine said if he's taking notes, then you need to start doing it too. Exactly. But Garbi then says that she's going to proceed with caution. She didn't really. But Andreina, she then says that she doesn't think that her and Johnny will get to the end together. She called it. She called it. But Tyrique, he comes to pull Justine to the speakeasy. And she asks if we're having a date and whatnot. And he's like, yes, because I miss you. And she says, I do too. We then see a quick scene of the Bombshells walking into the villa to go get in their prize boxes, but we'll get to them in a minute. But Tyrique and Justine, they're in the speakeasy, they're flirting, they're kissing, and he tells us like the strategy went well, aka what he's doing is working. So he's like, and y'all, I know y'all mad about it, but the plan, he's like, the plan and the mind game is working, and he feels good. Like I said in my notes right here, he's setting himself up. Tyrique, you setting yourself up. Because the viewers don't like anybody playing with Justine. You play with Justine, you set yourself up. So, Tyrique, you set yourself up. But the Bombshells, they're in the boxes out in the garden. The boys come out and notice it. They go running upstairs to the speakeasy where Ty and Justine are. Tell them, they come running out. The girls come running out. Everybody sees the gifts. Everybody heads down. Ariana comes walking in and she has them go sit down on these little benches. So she then has them, she tells them that a lot's changed since she's last been there. She congratulates Sydney and Toby on being the power couple and Johnny and Andreina for being safe. So she then addresses the vulnerable couples and she tells them America will vote for their favorite boy and girl from all of the vulnerable islanders. And in 24 hours, the islanders with the fewest votes will be at risk for getting dumped from the island. So she tells them that tonight is a chance for the vulnerable islanders to remove themselves from the vote. In each one of these boxes, there's a bombshell, a girl and a guy. So she then tells them that you got these cards, you got two options. One is to pretty much open that box to couple up with the bombshell, or to stay where you at with your couple. And if you do that and you're vulnerable, you will stay vulnerable and face the vote. She also then tells Johnny and Andreina and Sydney and Toby, even though they're safe, they also can choose as well. If the bombshell chooses to couple up with one of them, their single partner will then join the vulnerable islanders. I said, ooh, this is messy. So Ariana has to make their decisions before even knowing who's in the box. I like the fact that they did this. So Andrea chose to stay with Josh. Josh chose to stay with her. They're still vulnerable. Nicola, she chose to open it. Obviously, she has no other choice because Marivn really don't want her. She knows that she's desperate to find somebody that wants her, so that's the best option for her. So she goes for it. Marivn don't like Nicola, so he goes to the box. Lucinda and Blackscent, they choose each other. Garbi chooses to stay with bitch ass, and he chooses to stay with her for optics. Justine chose to stay with Tyrique, and Tyrique chose to open that box. I said eye for an eye. Y'all mad, but I mean, shit. She did it to him. He did it to her. They're even now. But he says it was a hard decision, even though that he and Justine are good. But her actions made him question if he could trust her. And he's going with his gut. Toby's face, he made that same face that he did when Tyrique was telling him his plan last night. He knows Tyrique is playing with fire, and Tyrique is just not seeing it. But he decides to open up that box. Justine starts laughing and says, okay, noted. That's it. So Tyrique goes and stands by the box. He fucked himself, like I said, with them fans by doing it. But he states that it's not the best feeling, but he made the decision, and he has to stand on it at this point. He said that he didn't know where he stood with Justine, which, I mean, I can get that. I can understand why he feels that way, because I don't want to say that he felt like he had Justine, but like Justine was really kind of choosing Josh over him, which it makes it seem like, okay, well, I'm a second option at this point. But Ariana didn't ask him if he thought that she was going to open the box. And he says like it was 50-50 and he's making a decision that's best for him. She didn't ask Justine a question, and Justine says like, I mean, he knew damn well I wasn't opening that box over him. And Ariana didn't ask like, why do you think that? And she says that they had a conversation before that. And Ariana didn't ask too, do you feel blindsided? And she's like, yeah. And he was like, it's not nice, is it? And she's like, I mean, I guess at this point we're even. Yeah, low key, but high key. So Ariana then asked the safe couples. Sydney kind of threw a fake out at first. It looked like she was about to go, but she chose to stay with Toby. He does the same. Andreina chose to stay with Johnny, obviously. But Johnny obviously chose the bombshell because he's like, it's been surface level between the two of them. It's starting to feel draining. Like I said, y'all gonna be mad at him, but he's not wrong. Girls and guys, they're shocked. Every last one of them shocked. I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know why. But Johnny says that I know it's a shock to all of y'all, but I've had my doubts about our connection, and I'm trying to get to the end. That's why I don't understand why it's a shock. He's been very upfront about that. But Andreina says that she was willing to work it out. I said, since when? Like, I guess the love connection, I guess you're willing to work out, but in terms of the game, you're not. You've never been that. And you stated it yourself, you don't really care. But she's like, good luck with your box, and she slides all the way over. And Johnny then stands up there with Marivn and Tyrique. All the black boys are up there standing for a box. I found that funny. But Andreina then starts talking about how she chose him, but she don't want him back. At this point, like, Gabby, who's in the box, choose him. But Ariana opens the boxes, and it's Gabby and Casey, the winners of Love Island All-Stars. And their exes, which I find convenient. I feel like, because to my knowledge, they were recently still together, and now they're exes, so, but whatever. But Gabby, she's excited to meet people, as is he. Gabby's here for the money, but is open to love, as is he. Her profession is fitness. He runs marathons. Like, running marathons is not really going to do too much in this game. Maybe on the challenge it would. But Casey, he obviously knows all of the UK people in bitch ass who's sitting up there bouncing and shit. But Casey and Nicola, they're obviously a couple now because by default, she was the only one standing up there. So that's who he's partnered with. She's obviously giddy because that's another person that she can try and hope will actually like her. But he's happy because he can compete and she can compete. But Marivn and Tyrique, they're vulnerable because Gabby ends up choosing Johnny because she's been watching. She already know Johnny can compete. So Gabby and Johnny, they go sit on the safe bench next to Andreina, which I found crazy and funny and messy on production's end. But Andreina then moves to the vulnerable bench. Ariana tells them, though, before she goes, one last thing. The power couple, you got some power that you haven't really used at this point. So she calls Sydney and Toby to the front, and they could choose one islander of each sex to save. Now the thing is I was like, if they let Toby choose the guy, he's gonna choose Tyrique. So Sydney chose the boy, Toby chose the girl. Toby chose Lucinda to stay. She needed to go. Sydney chose Tyrique to stay to build a stronger connection with her actual couple, which, I mean, it makes sense because that's a number for her and Toby, because Toby and Tyrique are best friends. But the vulnerable islanders that face the vote, we about to vote for them right now. All right, so y'all see what time it is. It's 12:06. But which girl do you want to keep in the games? We got Andrea. Oh, my God, I keep doing this. We got Andrea. We got Andreina. We got Garbi. And we have Justine. I think this is the easiest vote for me. Andrea, if somebody else wasn't here, I probably would vote for you to stay because I actually like watching her compete, and she's not that bad. You need to go home. Out of this group, you need to go home. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't really here to play the game for real, for real. Yeah, you want to do love part, but you got to play the game too. Garbi, I would vote for you if you didn't attach yourself to that bitch, that punk ass bitch. So Justine, you 100% are getting my vote. I want the games too, because I know she's gonna try and get back with Tyrique, and I want to see them go back and forth with each other. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be good to TV. Y'all don't want to watch good TV apparently, so she's getting my vote 1,000%. Which boy, absolutely not. We're not giving Isaiah a vote. Josh, you're not getting my vote. Yo, you definitely not getting my vote. So Marivn is gonna have to be you. So Justine and Marivn, you got my votes. I hope y'all both are safe. We will see what happens on Sunday. So, yeah, if you got this far and thugged it through with me, because this one was hard. I struggled because I'm 8 sheets to the win. And I'm tired. It's literally 12 a.m. So, I need to go pack. I'm going to see y'all later. Thumbs up the video if you love me. Get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Share the video. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see y'all on Sunday. Peace.